Yo, what's up guys? It's Duckweed here with your first building video. How exciting, I know. This is insane. I've been kind of wanting to do this for a long time, so like, why not? So maybe someone can see my building process. Who knows? Maybe in the future, someone can comment, give me some tips, who knows? Anyway, we get right into it. I've already picked a song for this, Balloonimals by Korai. Absolute banger. Really goofy sounding, so it fits well. I'm just going to be making a short level, like I always do. Probably around 15 seconds with some dual gameplay. So, yeah. Go 10 seconds. Fade in, just so it sounds better. I always forget it doesn't fade in the editor. How does that sound? Yeah, it's fine. First, I'm just gonna add some structure to get the cube in place. We'll probably just make a good dual, because I love duals. Duals are awesome. Duals are amazing. Maybe since this is the first, I'll just keep it simple with a spider dual, because spider just is like 10 times easier to make duels with, especially ones with solid beats in the music. Could probably add like a decent transition here in the future. Maybe. I kind of suck at transitions, so maybe not, maybe. Of course, speed it up for... I'll go 3x speed, because 3x is flowy. This is too close. Too close. There we go. In my opinion, some of the most important parts of building duels is just adding a click pattern of sorts. Because when you add a click pattern, then it just becomes like a lot more solidified in making it. Just like that. Because it looks like you just like an impact there. And it kind of syncs with the music and makes it easier to play. Not going to be excited to structure this. Is going to take forever, as it always does, but you know. Some of the most annoying inconsistencies is the way that the blue orbs work. Because if you do that, but if you like swap the icons, so if it's like the green one hitting first, then this click just doesn't work. Like that, it's like, it's so annoying. Like you can technically like consistency fix it with options trigger, but you know, then you're just kind of cheating, in my opinion. Unless you're trying to go for some cool things like audio visual, what he does, and like cut deep, that especially is really cool. So here's one issue I always see in duels. It's like, if you want it to be flowy, you generally don't want stuff like this. So what I like to do is, if you're trying to click twice instead of just holding, because if you click here and you hold for too long, then although it does make it easier, it's just kind of annoying to do too many micro clicks at once. So just add like an extra spider web here so it cancels the input. Like, look how much more crisp that is. And even better, I could probably move that over as well. It's like, flows pretty nice. You don't have to deal with any inconsistencies or anything. Does this work? Sometimes I don't understand why this works. I think it's because of the same gravity in the... Yeah, okay, it's because of the same gravity in the green, yeah. This little staircase pattern with the spider is just something I've gotten really into doing, because, I don't know, it just feels so nice to pull off. Like that. Oh, no, not this again. That's pretty fire, I ain't gonna lie. Or, really. Actually, no. I don't like it. Having game modes that match each other, especially on impactful jumps. So you have the ba like that. Especially like that. It's super cool. Bam. Look at that. It's so impactful because of how the symmetric behind them. Another thing that's pretty impactful is adding things where the spider or like the game modes are symmetrical for like a hot minute, like a symmetrical dual almost. So it's like when you have them match like that, and when you have them do a single input in like a certain way. One tip I have for making dual gameplay is to just practice. If you don't like how something's turning out, then you can just like you can always go back and like fix it and stuff like that. Like earlier when I was like I didn't like that, so I just deleted it and then fixed it, and eventually you'll just get the hang of like what you like and what you don't like in your gameplay, and you'll figure out how to make it flow well. It's especially easy with spiders though, because the spider is probably like one of the most consistent game modes. I could probably rank all the game modes at some point. That's like an idea for the future. I don't know. Ranking game modes based on how good they are in duels. Unpassable blocks just for like consistency. I really don't need it. I'm probably gonna change it anyway, but I like to just have them at 50%, so like signifies that not fully collision. And some duels are admittedly really hard to make consistent gameplay with. Like, for example, the ship game mode is like really hard to make consistent gameplay with. Especially just because like the nature of the game mode, as well as swing copter. I don't really like using swing copter that much. Sometimes I'll just stick it in there as a joke, and then it somehow fits in. That requires a lot of tweaking with the gameplay, especially though, to make it consistent, so it's just like a hassle. So this is always going to put the player here, no matter what, because you click the spider orb, you hit the portal, and you fall. So this is probably going to be pretty good click. Something you can also do is just like add a lot of leniency with clicks. You can scale up orbs if you really want to. I used to do that a bunch, but after a while it just was like, why am I doing this? It just kind of looks weird. Not to say that scaled orbs look weird, but it just was kind of pointless. Of course, I have this one here for consistency, just in case, just so it looks better for the player. Because if you have a regular scaled orb here, it looks like only one spider is kind of supposed to hit that, but if you scale it up, at least in my opinion, it looks like both are meant to hit it. Especially since they both kind of like miss it by a little bit. You would still hit the spider orb anyway, it just looks like it reads better. Slopes, scary slopes. Slopes just make the spider land faster, and since they look kind of cool in structuring, why not? Like that, you land before you click. That's one of the most important parts, in my opinion. If you land before you click, things get a lot more consistent. especially with click patterns. Because if you're just holding there, if you're just holding into this, I mean, this is kind of a bad click, to be honest. Because if you hold into the next click, then it just becomes a lot more reliant on the previous one. And especially with UFOs can be really inconsistent, especially when they're not done right. So just adding a little bit of leniency before the next click, like having the player land on like a block or something, just makes it a lot more consistent. Same thing goes with UFO. You could add blocks to your UFO gameplay. I personally like having the UFO player go into little gaps and then jump out of them. What I could do, something I've done in a previous layout, was add portals at the end. Because that changes this player's gravity, right? So that way you can force some clicks in there. I should probably add some sort of indication, because this looks pretty confusing, especially if you walk up to it for the first time. Like, you're just like, what the hell do you do here? And you figure it out. Oh. Click 3 times like that. Click, switch, click, click, switch. Pink orb. Legendary pink orb. Pink orb carries, guys. Pink orb carries. Send love to pink orb, guys. Yeah, justice or pink orb. That was awesome. Cicada 3302 by Darwin just like absolutely has awesome blue pad usage. The way that they're like used just makes it so cool. That's an awesome extreme demon. For a level that's almost entirely a layout, it's just like awesome. I mean, this is cool. I just don't know where to add the orb clicks. Because generally what I like to do is I just add like a little click like that. But because of how close this pad is, I don't think it'll be consistent. Actually, probably be more reasonable to add a black orb here, funny enough. I mean, that works, sort of. I don't like the pad placement though. Oh, you have some leniency, I think, because you don't hit the spider doesn't hit the pad until like here-ish, so I guess you have, as long as you click that orb on time, you're probably fine. Ooh, I didn't think about that. This might be slightly inconsistent though, because of the way this green guard click is structured. Adding buffer clicks to dual parts is interesting. Like, you can do it. I know I've done it before, especially with certain gimmicks you kind of need to have buffers. Like, yeah, I can't think of any examples right now because I'm terrible at describing things, but yeah. Yep, that works. And now what I'm probably going to do is swap these spiders out for who's hitting the pad. So instead of having the regular spider, this one can fly into a different thing. Whenever I talk about consistency, of course, I mean exactly what you think I mean. I'm just talking about how often you can get the inputs correctly without a weird death. But often with less consistent game modes, it's just harder to make, obviously harder to make consistent gameplay, but it's also just harder to make fun duels in general with, which is why I always have spider duels and everything. Unless I'm like feeling up to the challenge, then I just have a good spider duel and everything's fine. Uh-oh, that's a buffer. one thing is that it's not like a rule not that buffer gameplay. I kind of have been hating on it the entire time. But with cube parts, if you're trying to make unique cube duels, like duels with cube, obviously, then having a section where you just kind of hold with the cube and then the other icon doesn't jump can work really well. Especially with like a cube X UFO. Because when you have the cube and UFO, the cube can keep jumping with a singular input while the UFO can only perform a singular jump with an input. Okay? That was me clicking too late. Though it does feel like a bug, which is kind of annoying. I just don't know what to do with this situation right here. I mean, to be fair, what I could do is I could just no-touch this, which technically isn't the best for sight readability, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Scale it down to like 75. Invis. Because then the spider just won't hit that. If you try hitting that, you're probably just going to die to the spike anyway. Now I just got to fix this. This is probably the most annoying part. To be honest, I could probably just do a spider orb like that. Literally just skip this entire bit right here. Spider orb. Ooh, here we go. Finally. That works pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. Red pad. Seems like a pretty decent final click, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, look at that. Have it go into like a really tight gap so it looks super menacing, except in reality it's like the freest click ever, because all you have to do is tap E. Look at that. Now, just in case y'all hit this orb like a little late or something, I'm probably just going to turn off the hitboxes on these spikes. But it still looks pretty cool. It looks like a really cool looking final click. I think that's this layout done. So now I'm just going to like showcase it. I'm gonna be honest, this took a lot longer than I thought it would. Respect to other Geometry Dash YouTubers, I had like almost 2 hours worth of footage, so cutting it down this much took a long time. I'll love you leave a like and subscribe. Help other people see this, cause I gotta teach the youth how to build duels, I guess. And have a good one.